Good morning everyone, I am Dozio Mekwe. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to build the perfect login page from the scratch using only HTML and CSS. But before we do that, let's demo our login page and see what it will look like when we are done. So here we are. This is what our login page will look like when we are done. We'll be adding this blur effect. And right here we have our input box for the username and the password. On the left we have a remind me button. On the right we have a forgotten password text. Going there we have the login box and the sign up option. And before I forget, we'll be adding this hover effect to the forgotten password text, to the login box, and to the sign up option. So let's get to work. The first thing we are going to do is to create a folder on our home screen, and we're going to name it login page. Okay, when we are done with that, we run our code editor. Right, I'm using Visual Studio Code. Click on File, click on Open Folder, select Desktop, and scroll down to select the folder we created on our home screen, which is login page. Select folder. Okay, here we are. First thing, let's create our HTML file, index.html, then our CSS file, style.css. Come back to this HTML file, hold down shift, then click on 1 and enter. Let's edit this document over here to login page /nextdos, and let's link our CSS file to the HTML. So in between these head tags, just type in link style.css. That's it. Okay, let's start with creating a container div. Then enter. That is it. Right in between this container div, we'll create another div and call it main. Enter. Inside this main div over here, we are going to type in login in h1 tag. Okay, when you're done with that, let's create another div here. Let's create another div and call it input box. So the regular pattern for creating a div is what you follow. Inside this input box, let's start with our input tag. Input, type text. Here, type in placeholder, which return to username. Let's create another input box. This input box will be for the password. So let's go like this, and then input box. And this input tag, we turn this type here over here to password, and turn the placeholder also to password. When we are done with that, let's go down here and create the remind me. Remember the remind me forgotten button I showed you? Let's create it over here. Sorry, it's not a button, it's called a checkbox. So let's create the remind me forgotten checkbox. Doing that, we are going to first of all create a div for the remind me forgotten. So remind forgotten, and in between this remind forgotten div, let's start with a label tag over here. Okay, in between this label tag, we'll create an input for delete this one, we don't need it. Then create an input. The type, we turn the type to checkbox, and over here we type in remind me. Still in between this remind me forgotten div, we're going to make an a tag for the forgotten password. In between here we type in the forgotten password. Okay, when we're done with that, let's create the login button. To create that, just call up the button tag, and in between the button tag you type in login and come over to this place and give it a class of a btn. Okay, that's it. Next thing we are going to do is to create the sign up option. Remember the sign up option I showed you? Let's do that over here. To do that, we create another div for the sign up option. In between the sign up div, we input a paragraph tag, then the text don't have an account, another a tag over here, you call it a tag sign up. That's it. So let's run our code on live server and see what we've done so far. Just right click and open it live server. Okay, this is it. This is what we've been doing so far. Here we have our username, password, the remind me checkbox, the login and everything. Now let's start styling it. Go back to the VS Code, go to style.css. Now first things first, let's just set up the compound for what we're going to be doing. So this, you set this margin to 0, you set the padding to 0, you set the box sizing to border box, we set the font family to sans serif. When we're done with that, come down and type out body, curly brackets, we set this display to flex, justify content to center, align items to center, min heights, let's set it to, okay, sorry, that's a mistake, min heights, let's set it to 100 VH. Then background, let's set the background to aqua. Good. So when we're done with that, let's start styling our code now. Come over to this HTML, copy this container, then dot container. We start with the width. Let's set the width to 400 px. The background to tomato. You can choose any color. I like the tomato color, you understand? Let's set the border to 2px solid, then gray. That should do. Let's set the color to white. The backdrop filter, there's a mistake here. The backdrop filter, let's set it to blur, then in the brackets put in 20px. Border radius, we'll set this to 10px. The padding, we set the padding to 35px and 45px. Okay, once you're done with that, come back to this index.html. let's style this h1 tag over here. So go back to the CSS, just type in normal container, then h1 curly brackets. The font size 30px should be okay. Text align, set this to center, and that should do. Go back to this index.html. Now we are going to take care of this input box over here, so just copy this input box, go back to the CSS, then dot container dot the input box curly brackets. Let's start with the width. Set the width to 100%, and set the height to 50px. When you're done with that, you set the margin to 30px. 30px, then 0. That's good. Come down, type in input box and input curly brackets. Okay, this input over here is this one here, so we'll be starting it right now. Set this input to, let's set the width to 100%, set the height to under 100%, should be okay for both of them, I think. The background, let's set this to transparent. The outline, none should do. Set the border to 2px solid, then white. Border radius, let's keep this at 30px. Font size, set this to 15px. Color white. Set the padding to 25px, 45px, 25px, and 25px. Okay, When you're done with that, we are going to, let's take care of the placeholder. So just input box, input, a double column twice, then placeholder, curly brackets. Let's set the color to white. That should be okay. That is good. Now let's take care of this. Remind me forgotten. This one. Come over here and copy it. Go back to the CSS. Let's start with the remind me forgotten. So you do the regular dot container, then dot remind forgotten. Display flex, justify content, space between, font size 15px, margin 15px, px 0, another 15px. Put a minus sign behind this one over here. Yes, that is it. Go down again over here. Now let's check what we've been doing so far. Come back to this place. See, we've gotten pretty far. There's it. So let's go back to our code. Go down over here. Let's call up this remind forgotten label input, this one here. So we go like this, remind forgotten label input, curly brackets. Let's put the accent color to white. Then the text decoration, no, not the text decoration, the margin right to 4px. That's good. Then this remind forgotten a tag, let's style it right now. Just come here, call out the remind forgotten, then a curly brackets. Let's set the color to white, the text decoration to none. You remember the hover effects I showed you? Now we'll be adding the hover effects to the remind forgotten text. So dot remind forgotten, these are to add the hover effects. When I type out this dot remind forgotten, then a double column hover, curly brackets. Let's set the transition to just 1 second, and the color to blue. Let's go back to our project and see what it looks like. See, and here is the hover effects, it's functioning. Come back to the code. Now let's style this btn over here, this one. So where is it? This btn, this login button. Let's style it. Come here, copy it, go back to our style sheets, then dot container dot btn curly brackets. Let's start with the width. Let's set the width to 100%. set the height to 40 px, set the border to none, set the border radius to 30 px. Let's set the cursor to pointer. Then font size, let's make the font size 20 px. That should be okay. Font width, bolder. That is it. Now let's also add in the hover effects to that button. So dot container dot btn double column hover transition 1 second color blue. Let's confirm these functions, and this is it. These functions, yeah, everything is functioning. So the next thing we're going to do is to style this sign up. The sign up div over here, let's style it. So just come here and copy the sign up. Go back to the CSS file. Dot container dot sign up curly brackets. Let's set the font size. Set the font size to let's set the font size to 15 px. That should be okay. Set the text align to center. Set the margin top. Let's set margin top to 20 px. Then you know this a tag inside the sign up, this one over here, let's style it. So we're just going to do dot sign up call out the paragraph tag, then the a tag, and curly brackets. Set the color to white. Text decoration to none, and set the font width to bolder. Okay, when you're done with that, let's add the hover effects to the sign up option. So you use the regular method that we have been using. Color of the sign up, the paragraph tag, the a tag, then double column hover transition 1 second color blue. Okay, that's it. Let's go to our project and see what we've done so far. See, everything is working as well as expected. The hover effect is effective here, and also here. Okay, I think the next thing to do over here, let's change our background. So I have an image over here, just a regular image, a winter landscape. So I'm going to copy it, come over to my login page folder, the one we created on our home screen, paste it. That's it. When next we open our VS Code, you can see it over here. So let's scroll up to the body over here. Yeah, this one. delete this aqua, type in URL, select, then we start with the name of our image, winter landscape. There's it. Let's test it out, and you can see it functions. Go back to our code. Let's turn this tomato over here. Let's make it transparent. So guys, you can see this is it. This is our login page, and everything is functioning as well as I showed you earlier before we started this video. Everything is okay. The remind me checkbox functions. The forgotten password has a hover effect. So does the login box and also the sign up. We've come to the end of this video. If you like it, consider giving it a like and a share.